Morning guys, I'm the Tech Prepper. Hope you're all doing well. So I'm putting together a field exercise with some friends and family, and this is a dry run for something that I'd like to turn into a series of field trainings in the future. And part of this exercise is a multi-day trip, so I have to be cognizant of the gear that I'm carrying, primarily my support gear. I'm going to be bringing my pups, so I also need to have gear for the dog. So my gear selections are very much predicated on the needs of the exercises, the types of communication we're going to be carrying out, and then constrained by size and weight. So one of the days we're going to be going out and doing a couple of different movements, and I wanted to have a very small kit in addition to my larger ruck that I'll be leaving down at the campsite. So we're going to talk about what's in this bag over here, plus the carry radio I'm going to be taking out. For this exercise, I wanted the participants, friends and family that are attending to help me dog through this, keep their gear very lightweight because they will be carrying quite a bit of support gear for a multi-day trip where we have to carry out all of our water. So that includes sleep systems as well, cook systems, the whole shebang. So the exercises are going to be around using 2 meter and 70 centimeter voice communication as well as packet communication for some of the digital modes. We're all going to be using the BTEC UV Pro. We're going to use the over-air feature here to sync up everybody for the group. So really quite nice. We've got USB charging. I even have a panel that we can use to charge these batteries in the field if needed. Personally, people keep on asking, what kit am I carrying? Well, for the last, I don't know, just under a year, I've been running the Hill People Gear SAR medium kit bag. This is the chest rig. And then mounted at a cant is the Spectre Gear FT60 pouch, and it fits the UV Pro perfectly. In terms of digital comms, everybody's just going to bring their phone. We'll be doing a variety of exercises that include WinLink. So for the Android guys, we're going to be using WODE WinLink on Android and Radio Mail on iOS. There is a packet exercise that will be using my bulletin board system as part of the scavenger hunt. We're going to be using the WinLink on Android terminal application for that. But we've got a bunch of guides that we're going to share equipment. But by and large, the goal was to be cognizant of the fact that we're going to be covering shy of 7 or 8 miles and keep the gear lightweight and compact. So the phone that you already have, plus a simple dual band radio. So in addition to the personal comms needs, I need to bring additional gear. If you want to think about it this way, I will be acting as the RTO, and no, I'm not prior service. So what I want to do is make sure that I have a kit that will easily separate from my overall backpack and can be used for these exercises. I'm using my old Haley Strategic flat pack here, and I have pretty much everything to do, or all types of communication to cover local through worldwide communication depending on propagation. So in the smaller outer pack, I have a small pouch here, and this has my HF antenna, which we're probably not going to use, but since it's lightweight, I'm going to bring it. And this is the 40 meter end-fed halfway by Tim Ortiz. I think you guys have seen this many times on the channel, but it has some miscellaneous connectors. It has some RG316, carabiner clip that fell on the ground, some micro paracord, and then of course the multi-band end-fed halfwave. This will do 10, 15, 20, and 40 meters. And when I deploy this in the field, I do very low to the ground NVIS deployments at about 5 or 6 feet, if not lower, and it's going to work fine just for the purposes of our exercise. In the second outer compartment, I have the gear needed for our fox hunt. We're going to be doing some radio direction finding for the first time, and we need to plant a transmitter somewhere that we can go and hunt. So for this, I have intentionally chosen the gear here because of simplicity. And there are 3 components. First, I've got the Baofeng UV5R. I have a fleet of these. That's largely why I picked it. It's already programmed identically to the BTEC UV Pro. We're going to be using just the stock rubber duck antenna, and we're going to be running this on low power. And then the extended battery is quite nice because it has the barrel connector that we can tap into for power. So the goal is lightweight and simplicity. And I found this online, and this seems to be the standard for a lot of fox hunts for the radio direction finding. And it's by Bionics. It's called the BF-Con, or the Fox Hunt Controller. And the nice thing about it is that it plugs directly into the Kenwood style connector on the side here. And then we can run the power off of the extended battery. And this will key the transmitter transmit the beacon, and then it'll also ID with my call sign. So I can go down, run about half mile down the trail, and go hide this somewhere for our fox hunt. Really quite straightforward. All right, so the main compartment. Got a couple pieces of goodies here. I'm not going to go too much into this, but this is my HF kit. For those of you guys who have seen me, this is seen my videos in the past. This is everything that I need for doing digital work and also voice work. Very small footprint deployment using the True SDX. Got a small battery pack that I've done a paint job on. Got a field card for the True SDX on the back there. Misconnectors, cables, all that good stuff. But yeah, this is the transceiver. Again, I will link to the True SDX videos. Probably not going to be using this, but since it's so compact and lightweight, I thought why not bring it for our exercise. So we're going to be sharing some equipment, so I asked the guys not to bring their laptops with all of their gear, but I wanted to bring and test my latest build of MCOM tools. This is going to be release 4 that's coming out in mid-April. And there's a few things that I do want to test with this piece of equipment. I've got a bulletin board server that starts up automatically on VHF UHF 1200 baud packet. I've got some cool exercises that will involve determining the weather to help drive whether or not we need to deploy our rain flies. We're going to communicate that over radio, and then we're also going to post it to a bulletin board system that we set up in the field using this guy. But I also want to go and test all of the other modes to make sure that the next release of the MCOM tools R4 release is solid. So we'll test everything from VARA for WinLink all the way down to packet to all of the other modes. And then in terms of battery, I didn't bring anything to charge it. Instead, what I did was just bring 2 batteries that are fully charged. And if you guys are an FZM1 user, I always remove my batteries because there is a parasitic draw, or you can accidentally engage the power and have a dead battery. That's happened to me at least a half dozen times over the last 2 years. So I always pull them out and then stick it in a bag. If you guys are looking for bags, Tough Possum Gear actually has a nice bag that fits the FZM1. I'm not affiliated with these guys. I bought this myself with channel funds, but that's what I use these days for carrying out my stuff. And then I've got a build of MCOM tools on USB just in case we have to boot off of it as a live image. So that's really it, guys. I don't know what the actual weight of that is, but it's fairly lightweight in my opinion. But bottom line here is that as much as I would love to bring something like my FT818 man pack with a bigger battery, much better gear, this is actually too heavy for me to carry since I'm going to be hauling up 6 liters of water, my sleep system, food, stuff for the dog, and some other things I need, some other equipment like the Yagi antenna for the direction finding exercise. So pick and select the gear that's appropriate for what you want to do, adapt it. There isn't one radio that does everything. I know some of these radios may look like toys, but I gotta tell you, the True SDX is phenomenal when you are space constrained. Baofeng UV5R, if I lose this thing, I'm not gonna lose any sleep over it, and the simplicity of having something that does the beaconing in this package you can't beat. To do this on one of my Yaesu rigs would be a little bit more complicated, and I really don't feel comfortable leaving a $300 radio somewhere out in the National Forest. All right, guys, I'm the Tech Prepper. Be strong, be safe, be prepared. So in the second outer compartment, don't hate me too much for this one, but it's very specific why the knob came off. No worries, I pulled it by the volume knob here.